Hey everyone, it's Katie from Blueprint Games here. In this tutorial we're going to be looking at collision in Unreal Engine 4 by using 3ds Max. Some of you might already know that when you put things into Unreal it usually gives you auto collision, but sometimes you want to have more control over your scene. So what we're going to be doing is making our collision in 3ds Max first and then importing it into Unreal. And without any further ado, let's get started. So the first thing you want to do is bring your model up inside your program. This is my model that I'm going to be using, my retro TV, but you can use any model. And the first thing you're going to do is you're going to need to name your mesh. So to name your mesh, just select it like so, and come up to this little part here. So you want to be on this tab, modify, and you just rename it by typing in this section here. And I'm going to call it retro TV. Okay? Now what we need to do is create a new mesh or new primitive that is going to be our collision. So to do that I go up to my create panel, standard primitives and box, and I'm going to click and drag this out and bring it up to about here. Okay, now to be honest I think this is already quite good collision. It's just a simple box collision. But as I said before, Unreal will just do this for you anyway. So if you really want to have something that's got a little bit more detail in it, a little bit more control, then we're just going to change this a bit. So I'm going to right click this model and convert it to an editable poly. And then I'm going to rename this because this is, by renaming it, this is how Unreal is going to detect that this is your collision. So we're going to go up to here, again, similar to last time, and I want you to type in UCX underscore, and then what you've called your other mesh. So I've called this retro TV. So whatever you called your mesh, do underscore, and then the name of the mesh you're making collision for. Okay, so we're going to edit this a bit so that we have something that's more fitted to the shape of our mesh. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to start off by freezing the retro TV that I'm working on so I don't accidentally select it when I'm working. So to do that, select your mesh that you're working on, right click, and you want to go to freeze selection. So from now on, I can't click that by accident when I'm working on this. Then what you might want to do, it's optional, is you want to select your mesh that you're making collision from, and you can do Alt X, and that makes it transparent, meaning that you can see through what you're working on to get a bit more like sort of like an X-ray mode. Okay, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to select the back face and just inset this a bit, like so. And then I'm going to take the vertices, select these vertices here, and drag them in, like so. These ones seem alright. Just take a look from all angles. They can come down a bit here, like so. And then I'm going to select this face and I'm going to bevel it. And you can see through the, by doing the X-ray mode, I can sort of see behind it here what sort of shape I need to make. So it seems like it's come out far enough. Just bring that in a bit. Click OK. I'm going to select this line and I'm going to bring it down closer to the edge on the TV. And I'm going to take this line and bring it down like so. So we're just trying to match the basic shape of our TV or the model that you're making or have made. Just bring this line out like so, and this one like that. There you go. So I've got a very basic shape that represents the collision of my TV. Now you can bring this a step further if you want to. You could add collision to the antennae part, but there's really no need to go over the top. So what we're going to do now is we're going to export this out and bring it into our program, Unreal Engine 4. So I'm going to unfreeze the TV underneath by right click, unfreeze all, and then I'm going to select everything in the scene. And then I want to go up to here, export, export selected. And then you need to find somewhere you're going to save it. Ignore my messy desktop here. I'll just make a new folder. Retro TV. Oh gosh, what? I'm renaming something. What have I renamed? There you go. New folder. Retro TV. I'm going to export this as an FBX file. So make sure that you've saved it as an FBX type. I'm going to save it as Retro TV. That's not important, that's just, you don't have to match that one. Save. And you're going to get this window pop up called FBX Export. So make sure you have your smoothing groups, tangents and binomials. You want to triangulate your mesh since Unreal works with tris. And you want to preserve your edge orientation. Then we're going to come down to here. And when you come to the file format, I tend to use 2013 because I do have the newer ones. But as far as I know, Unreal isn't very good with the newer versions of FBX. But that might have changed by now. Depends when you're watching the video. But I tend to stick with 2013 because that seems to be the most stable one you can go with. So click OK. Then you want to open Unreal. Let me just bring that up. And we're going to import this. So go to your content browser by clicking here. And then you want to go up to import. And then you're going to go to Retro TV. Oh, I seem to have two of them. Don't judge me. And my terrible desktop. Here we go. And you want to import what you've saved out, your FBX file. Double click. And then what we're going to do is sometimes Unreal will auto-select this. It often is auto-selected for me, auto-generate collision. So make sure you've got that unchecked or it's going to automatically generate some collision for you. And this all seems about right. Okay, so we're going to import this in. Now I'm going to double click on my static mesh that I've just imported in. And if we look at this now, you can see here, this turns on your collision. So you can see your collision through a wireframe. And if we look at it, we've got the collision that we put in inside 3ds Max attached to it, like so. Now I could have made this a bit more detailed if I wanted to. I could have brought in a part here and sort of lined it up better. But for now, that seems alright. You don't need to go too over the top with your collision detection unless you're doing something pretty complex, but I can't think of anything from the top of my head. Now let's say that you want to do it the Unreal way. Maybe you haven't heard of this version before. But what you can do is you go to collision up here. And you can remove the collision that you currently have on your model. So that's got rid of the collision I did in 3ds Max. And then you can add, this is the stuff that Unreal will do for you, and it's quite useful. So you could add a sphere simplified collision. Or we can add, let's just remove that again, a simple box collision. And you can see what I mean as to why you might want to do your collision inside 3ds Max, since Unreal will do something really basic like this. Maybe you didn't want to include the antennae, maybe you want the character to be able to stand on the TV, you never know. So let's look at some other things that they can do. And they do something called auto-convex collision, which is useful as well if you have like cavities inside, or not cavities, but sort of holes inside your model. Maybe it's a jug, and it will do a more detailed collision for you. I think you need to go to here and hit apply. But that's starting to get quite, there you go. So auto-convex collision, you click apply here and it sort of does a much more detailed collision for you. Like it's included the antennae for me as well. Okay, so that's the tutorial. Fairly simple one today. If you want to see anything else, you're more than welcome to leave me a request in the description. I'll add it to my list. I'm going to be doing a lot more in Unreal, do some on post-processing and some on simple material creation as well as material instances. Thanks for watching, and if you enjoyed the video, please like, comment and subscribe, and I will see you in the next lesson.